So there's always going to be moments in your business where you're just like, I don't know, you just feel like you're in a funk. You feel like you're stuck, right? Like we use that word. We feel like we're stuck. Lord, y'all, this cat, he does not feel very good. I don't know what's going on with him. I might have taken to the vet, but you get stuck in a funk, you get stuck in a rut, and you are going to have to learn how to push yourself past that. Because no matter how far you get in your business, you're still going to find yourself back in that same slump time and time again. And what you have to understand is you cannot live there, right? You cannot live in the letdown. And one thing that really spoke to me, I don't remember what book it was from, but there was this guy online that was doing this video about the valley of despair. Okay. And if you look at like it, imagine like a U shape, right? I actually wrote it out when I was at work, and I think my coworkers probably thought I was crazy, but I wrote it out a little bit, right? So we all start here and we're working our way towards success, right? So picture this little curve in your mind as I'm talking, but everybody, whenever they're starting a new journey, like there's your excitement high, right? Like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I think I can do this. This is new. This is exciting. This is fun. That is called uninformed optimism, right? Because you don't know until you get in there how hard it's going to be. You don't know the work that it's going to take. You don't know the mindset that it's going to take. And so you go from that place to informed pessimism, right? You're like, oh crap, this is really hard. This is hard for me to do. It's uncomfortable. I don't like going live. Reels make me nervous. Like, I don't want to talk on team Zooms, right? You start going through this motion, and then you hit the valley of despair, where maybe you're like, no one's buying from me. Nobody's signing up for me. I'm not getting any likes. I'm not getting any engagement on my social media. This must not be working. You go into, thinking about what's the next shiniest comp plan. Like, I wonder what that person's got that I don't got. You got into comparison mode, and you literally sit in that funk. And what you need to understand is that you are responsible for sitting there the amount of time that you've been sitting there, right? And you are also responsible for getting yourself out. But I will also tell you, I cannot tell you how many times I have watched somebody come into this business. I have watched somebody hit the valley of despair. I have watched somebody leave this business, go to another new shiny business that's maybe a startup or whatever, and they do the same thing. They brought the same crappy mindset with them. They brought the same habits with them. And then I see them stop posting about that business, right? And it's like, you were never able to get yourself past that rock bottom. You were never able to get yourself past that valley of despair. And it doesn't matter what comp plan, what company, what leadership. Yeah, we have all of that is great here, right? We've got a great comp plan. We've got great leadership. We've got great products that we love, but it doesn't matter where you go, right? What matters, what's going to make you successful is your mindset, right? If I left and I went to go to another company, I know that I will be successful because of my mindset. Does that make sense? And you cannot sit in that valley of despair. You have to climb yourself out, right? And you have to be very rooted in where you're at to be able to do that, because it's very easy for us to go, this isn't working. They must have something on their comp plan that's much better than our comp plan. Like, this person's ranking up so much faster than I've ranked up. There must be something wrong with my business. There must be something wrong with my compensation. My paychecks don't look like what she's saying her paychecks look like, right? And you start comparing yourself and you're like, shit, right? You're like, I've been sitting here for so long. What am I doing? Maybe this doesn't work. But how do you expect yourself to show up on your stories, to do a live video, to post content that is compelling to somebody else, that makes them want to join you, if you're telling yourself those thoughts? If you're telling yourself, I'm doing something wrong, nobody wants to join me, I can't sell a trial for my life, right? I'm scared of going live, I don't have anything to offer, I must not be a good leader, right? And you'll catch yourself. And I want to ask you, because I know it's like, it must be really, it's like the new version of cold messaging, I swear to you. But poaching is huge right now, or at least I feel it. I feel it on my end. I'll just say that. And there have been times where I've noticed my mindset, right? So when it first started happening to me, I was like, this is rude, right? I was like, this is rude. Like, they don't even see that I have a business online, right? And then my mindset would go to, I would click their page, right? And I would compare and despair. I would click their page and I would go, top 1%. What does that mean? Right? Top 1%. You got 15 likes on your photo too, girl. Right? Like I put myself in that position where I'm like, she's got to be lying to me. Right? But what kind of energy did I just waste doing all that? It's really playing with your mindset when you do stuff like that, right? Versus now, every time I'm poached, I don't know if that's the right word to use, but every time I'm poached, I'm like, I don't care. Like, you cannot tell me anything. You could tell me I could make $1 million tomorrow. I am so rooted in where I'm at. I don't believe anything that's coming out of your mouth. I know that my success is inevitable. I have passed my valley of despair. I will not go back to that anymore. And if it's meant to be, it's up to me, and I'm going to do it for myself. Right. And it's like, when you realize that when people start cold messaging you, or they start poaching you, or, any kind of negativity comes around, you're just like, I'm not available for that. Right. And you've completely bulletproofed your mindset to the point where you can't be shaken. Right. Yeah. Of course, there's going to be hard days. Of course, there's going to be days where you argue with your spouse. Of course, there's going to be days where the kids are sick. Of course, there's going to be days where there's crap going on. And you're like, holy crap, this is hella hard to show up. Right. Like, I don't know how to show up right now, but I'm going to do my damn best. I'm sorry for cussing, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to show up. And I don't care if it's just like a simple zinger. It doesn't have to be a comp plan breakdown, but I'm going to show up nonetheless, and I'm going to move the needle forward in my business. And when you can get to that point, like we've talked about a lot recently, I feel like when you can get past working with your emotions in your business, because our emotions fluctuate on the daily. Okay. We're not always motivated. We're not always inspired, right? But we always take action. That is the mindset of success. Okay. Something that Chris and Boss said, not today. I hope you guys are getting a lot of value out of her event, but I'm excited for day 2 tomorrow. But one of the things that she said is you have to adopt, not adopt. She was talking about income producing activities. And she said, you could be doing all the income producing activities that you want, but do you have an income producing mindset? Right? And so you have to work every single day towards creating an income producing mindset. Meaning, of course, I don't want to go do a live video right now because I'm tired. I've been at work all day, but I'm going to do it because I told myself I was going to do it. I'm going to do it because I put on my goals that I'm going to talk about trials, right? X amount of times per week. And this is when I've got to make it happen, right? It's pushing through those moments where your body's like, tomorrow, it's fine, right? It's fine. I'm fine. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to start fresh tomorrow, right? Like, and you just put it off, right? And so once you get past that valley of despair, what happens is, so you go from like, okay, this is shiny, this is new, I'm excited, to, oh crap, this actually takes a lot of work. Like I did not anticipate this. And then you get down to like, holy crap, this is really, really hard. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm doing anything wrong. I don't know if I got what it takes. I just don't know. Right. And then you get into, once you can get past that, you get into informed pessimism, right? And you get into, this is hard, but I'm gonna figure it out. This is hard, but I'm going to push through because I know that this hard is producing my growth. I know that it's uncomfortable for a reason. I know that I'm meant to power through, to push through this hard season because of what it's creating of me, so that I can help lead somebody in the way that I just needed to lead myself, if that makes sense. And then you push forward through success. But what happens is so many people get caught in that valley of despair. They go straight down to, oh, I'm excited. Oh, this is a lot more work. Oh, I don't know if I can do this. And then the next shiny thing, the next shiny comp plan. Oh, they've got this. Oh, this is exciting. I'm going to do this. And then it's, oh, wait, this is actually going to take a lot of work to get the paycheck that I want. Oh, valley of despair again, right? And you're like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I have whatever X, Y, Z to make it work. Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, that looks cool. I'm going to go do that. Right. I loved that video that he did. I hope, do you guys know which one I'm talking about? Where he was like, oh, this looks cool. I'm going to go do this. And then it's like, you're just stuck in that cycle forever and ever. It's the same thing with diet, you guys. Maybe you've been there too. I've been this exact same person where I'm like, oh, intermittent fasting. Cool. That looks cool. I'm going to try it. And then you're like, oh shit, this is hard. Like I have to not eat until 11 o'clock. Oh, this is hard. The valley of despair. I haven't lost any weight. The scale is the same. Oh, keto, let's go do keto. That's cool. I think I can do that. Right. And then you're like, oh, wait, this is hard. Like I'm eating a lot of cheese. Right. And then, right. It's the same thing. I don't know why I went to cheese, but you know what I'm talking about. Cheese and pepperoni. I just felt like I was eating a bunch. But anyways, you go into the valley of despair and you keep thinking that you need the next thing. You need the next diet. You need the next trend. You need the next fix, right? You need the next preset. You need the next reels challenge. You need the next whatever. But you need to slay your dragon, right? You need to slay your dragon to be able to get to the other side, to say, you know what, like this is hard. Of course it's hard. Of course it's going to be challenging, right? But I'm going to push through. I got way off my notes, you guys. But anyways, let's go back to this. Crap. I need to get this unlock thing off my phone. What did I put? What are you making it mean when you haven't met your expectation? Right? So maybe your expectation was, or has been before, I'm going to go 4K this month, right? And then you don't meet your expectation. What do you make it mean about yourself? Do you make it mean that you're not worthy of it? Do you make it mean that you didn't do enough? Do you make it mean that it's not your time, right? And so you sit it out a little bit longer. What do you make it mean about yourself whenever you don't meet your expectation? And then do you lower your standards because of it? So you got to be very careful in that arena. I put, it's hard to take action when you're sitting in a shame spiral. And that's that spiral of always feeling like you're never enough. You're never doing the right thing. You don't have the answer. You don't have what it takes. That is really hard to create momentum in your business. It's hard to sell trials from that spot. It's hard to sign customers and team members from that spot. And I recently have been in that spot. And I'm not telling you that once you get past it, you're never going to go back. What I'm telling you is once you go past it and you get back to it the next time, you're stronger because of it. And you're like, oh, this is the valley of despair. I'm going to go. Let's go. Right? You're like, don't mess with me this time. Like, I know how to get through it. Right? I haven't signed a promoter since February. You don't think that plays with my head a little bit as your leader? Or sometimes I'm like, what is going on, right? Like, what is going on? Am I not talking about it enough? Am I not doing enough? Am I not a good enough leader? And I told myself for the longest time in this business that in my mind, I didn't feel like I had time, right? And I weaponized that against myself when that was the very reason why I joined this business, was for time freedom, right? Because I was always tied to the time clock. And I was tired of picking up overtime to pay my bills on time. Right? That is my reason for being here. That is my why. It's not necessarily about the money. It's about the time. It's about the memories I can create with my babies. So then how easy of it for my brain to go, I don't have time. I'm working full time. I'm busy. I'm front lines of the pandemic in my business. Like, I just can't, I don't know if I can onboard somebody right now because I just don't even know if I have enough time for them. Right? That was what my brain would say. Right? That's my valley of despair. Right? That's part of it. That's me having to push past it and go, you know what? No, I do have time to take one step at a time. But how would I ever be able to recruit somebody if I was in that mindset every day thinking, I don't have time to recruit somebody. I don't have time to jump in my chat. There's so many times where I feel so guilty, you guys. I'm literally being open and honest with you. I feel so guilty when our chat is quiet. And I feel like I have to be in there and I feel like I should say something in there, right? And that's my own insecurities that I work through. But it's like, you're going to realize that the more you grow in this business, you're going to realize what triggers you. And what triggers you is what you need to work on. What triggers you is where you need to grow, where you need to get stronger so that you can get past it to be able to create the results that you actually want in your business. So that you're not constantly thinking those thoughts, which are creating the actions, which are holding you back from the things that you need to be doing to create the results that you actually want. Does that make sense? What else do I got in my notes? I don't have a lot of notes. I don't want to keep you guys long tonight. I put, when our business isn't growing, that's when we've stopped growing. And that's something that I have had to swallow that hard pill recently and step into some things where it's like, you know what? No, do I feel ready to do this? No, but we're going to do it anyways. And we're going to make it happen. And do I have the finances to make it happen? No, but I'm going to trust that I'm going to get my ROI, right? I'm going to trust that I was put in that path for a reason. And I'm going to trust that I'm going to take the steps that I need to do to be able to get my ROI, right? To be able to grow myself in a way where I can then in turn return stronger for my team, right? because your business stops growing when you stop growing. And then I put, what gains can you be proud of outside of your results? I know we've talked about this a lot, but I think we overlook it. And then when I pass it to Harriet, but I think we overlook it because we're constantly thinking that we need the rank or we need the paycheck to be X amount of money to feel like we are worthy of this business or that we're worthy of bringing somebody else in. You know, our mindset plays tricks on us and says, you know, that we have to have something to show. Nobody's ever asked me that. Nobody's ever asked me how much money I make. Nobody's ever asked me what rank I am, right? Nobody's going to ask you that. And so you have to stop thinking that you need that in order to show up and change somebody else's life, right? In order to show up and say, you know what, I have something to offer you. I have a business model that can change your life. I have mentorship that I've been able to learn from and I've been able to grow from. And I know what you're going through. I know that you're scared, right? I know that you can do this, but maybe you just don't have anybody on your social media that's literally looking you in the face and saying, I believe in you, right? And I'm gonna hold space for you because I was that girl, right? This is how we talk to our potentials. Harriet, I don't know. My notes were all over the place, but you've got to teach yourself how to get past that valley of despair. Why does she look so bougie right now? Where did you just come from, church? Where are you going?
Oh, this is just me coming out of my valley of despair. This was perfect. Like, yes, yes, yes to everything you just said, because I definitely needed it. Okay. This is like, since I started this business, like my second valley of despair. And I've been going through I haven't signed a promoter since March. And, I had a big blow of so many promoter accounts, me being vulnerable with you guys, but nobody ever bought a pack, right? So it's like you get in your head of like, what am I not saying? Like, I reached out to Amber. I'm like, is there anything else different that I should say? But how they say, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person or I don't know how that goes. But you get in your head about it. And since Amber really was very like, that was excellent. So I kind of want to like maybe just touch on the part of my notes where it's like, how do you come out of it? Like, what can you do? Like, I'm literally going through that right now. Like, when you talk about like not showing up, when you talk about like, I'll do the live later, like for the last 2 weeks, I've done 1 live a week. That feels to me like I'm screwing up, but then I have to think about all the things that even as a leader, I tell you guys, like, even if it's 10%, like I've had 5% days in the last 2 months, but you'll still see me. I still show up. And that's what I want to like hope that in relating, if any one of you are feeling that way now, or I know we can all relate because you're going to go through it time and time again, but it's going to be different every time. Like Amber says, you come out of it quicker, how to get to the mindset that you need to go. You tell yourself, even while you're going through it, like, I'm going to come out of this. Like, I'm not going to stay here. But sometimes you do need to give yourself and your mental health that time. And in a certain aspect, still slow down. And I had to tell myself, like, not making excuses because quitting is not an option for me, but certain things it was a moment where I had to like be okay with it. Like, I didn't post today. I posted twice last week. But I put out my reels because I know that's what works. I showed up in my stories. I put my 3 steps on my stories. I still poured into her because I'm going through stuff. And so I'll just sit there and talk. Like, y'all know Jennifer and I are cool, right? One time she's like, sis, you should have just went live about this. It was so many slides, right? I was pouring in stories. And it's like, normally I would just say, I just need to go live. But something, I don't know what it was. But it's that valley of the spirit that you tell yourself, like, nobody cares. Like, I've been going live so much, like, they won't even notice that I'm not there. I'm feeling a little not as creative, and how you say when you stop growing, it feels so stagnant. Like, I hate to use the word stuck, but how many of y'all can relate? Like you feel stuck, or maybe like you're spinning a little bit, and it's just like I've been doing it. I've been showing up, and you just like, without even knowing, you slow down. You take your foot off the gas, and just like, then you start being so hard on yourself, and you don't show yourself grace, and it's just like you're really making yourself do less, right? By being in your head about it. So I want to talk about how we can come out of it, because I just literally did this in the last 2 days, and you have to go back to your vision. Like, why are you here? Go back to the basics, even with your vision and why you hit the promoter button. Like, go back to your day one, not just with your products, but with your business and why you're really here, because we all know it's not going to be easy. And we do go through that part where it's like, it seems so far away. And we focus on how far we have to go. And we say this all the time, but we don't realize how far we've come. And just be thankful for like the journey and enjoy how much you're growing. Like, now I'm in the part where my mindset where I'm like, you know what? Like, I feel like crap right now. I'm going through some personal stuff. It's emotional. Like, all this stuff, it feels chaotic. Bills are overdue. Disconnection notices, right? Rent's late. Like, literally, y'all know I keep it real, right? But I still keep going. Like, I feel mentally exhausted at certain points, but at the same time, it's like, you have to go back to what fills you, you know? So I realized that I wasn't even reading as much. Like, you start putting things off, you know, and you just have to remember why you're here and go back to that pointing to yourself. Like, for me, like, I had to really, really get back in my Bible, like listen to my podcast. Like, do you know, the last time I listened to Katie, and I'm shocked. Like, I'm so like overworked in my mind. You get there where it's like, I can't even do a training right now. I can't even take it in. You know, sometimes leaders go live and I'm just like, because sometimes it's so easy for our mind to want to flee. Because I know if I watch one of those trainings, it's going to hit me and I'm going to be like, what am I doing? But sometimes you're at a point where you're not ready to come out of it. And it's crazy to say it, but like, you want to, you sit in it for a little bit, but that's where the lesson lies. Like, that's where it's like, that's where you're going to grow from. Because it's like that thing that's making you still want to sit there. That's what you got to tackle and uproot and just say like, you know what? No, I'm going to keep going. You have to get rooted, like Amber said, like, I don't even, and I used to do the same thing. Go look at their pages, 1% top leader. Like, no. So like, I'm not going anywhere, and I know that, you know, so I just know that when I'm going to go through where we know it, our top leaders tell us, our millionaire leaders tell us, you know, we have to remember that sometimes. I don't know why I feel rushed, y'all. Hold on. Let me go to my notes. Go back to what excited you in the beginning. Sometimes it's hard to shake the negative spiral your mind may be in, but remember who you are as well. Like, remember that you're here for a purpose, for such a time as this. Like, pump yourself up and remember who God created you to be. Like, you're not here by accident. So you have to just know that you click that promoter button because you know God created you for more. He didn't create you for the lifestyle that you're trying to change. It's not going to be easy, so we have to stay rooted in in the purpose that you know that it's what you're here for. And remember that God will bring you through. Like, He has already equipped you to go through this. When you remind yourself of those things, it's like, you know, you're going to come out of it. You know, He's going to bring you through it. But then you have to pay attention to what He's trying to tell you in that season that you're in, or that valley that you're in. Like, where's the lesson? Where do I have to grow? Because He's not going to bless who you're pretending to be if you're showing up and not dealing with the things that you need to deal with, even personally, to show up for your business genuinely. Because then you feel bad and you feel like you're being fake. Like, I haven't gone face to face in my stories today because I haven't done that in a while. But I'm just like, I have nothing. You know? And I know it's because I just have to really get back to my growth, get back to my mindset, get back to loving me, get back to not giving so much attention to things that don't serve me. So what do you do when, like, it's so easy to get to the point where you just want to stop, and you before you know it, it's like, how do I show up again? It's like you're starting over. And that's one thing that I've really learned, and I feel like that's why I'm holding on tight, and knowing that you have to just, however you can, do not close the doors to your business, right? Because you lose that trust in yourself. And like, eventually, I don't know if any of you have ever felt like this, but like, it's almost like you get resentful of your business. Like, it's a burden. Like, you took this on because you wanted to use it for change. And now you're just like, oh my gosh, like, it's so much. Like, I just won't do this today. Like, it's all right. I didn't do my planning. I didn't post. It's okay. But no, like, you can't stay in that place. because you get resentful of your business like it's a burden, when really, like I said, it's something that you know can change your life. And you know, if you keep going, it's not gonna, it's inevitable for you to have that success. But you have to become the leader that's going to be able to handle those levels, to be able to handle those blessings. And when we think that, okay, maybe I don't deserve this, sometimes it's not even that thought. Sometimes it's okay to a certain level to realize I'm not ready for it, but it's only okay if you realize what you got to work on to get there. But if you're sitting there like, I don't deserve it, I don't know what's wrong with me, I can't do this, I might as well just I'm going to quit, then it's not okay. So don't forget to keep working on your mindset, working on yourself. Let's see. Yeah, put on here, no one is buying samples or ordering. Like, what do you do then, right? It's so, you have to try to like, that's why the excitement is key, because they can sense that. I just like, oh my gosh, that just sounds so like, I have trials, you know? So you have to find that love again, even for the product. So what do you do? I said, slow down, start learning to unplug. That's been amazing, because I think I said this before, when it comes to falling back in love with your product, if you didn't post on social media for a day and you didn't have to worry about taking your, like, posting your capsules, would you still take them? I'm still getting up and taking my capsules, my shake, and my DFT on a Sunday, but that's how you know you're here, because you genuinely love the product. You're not just showing up to sell them something. Yes, you're selling Thrive, but you would be taking this anyway, and you can talk about that. I have so many things in my life I want to change, and I love this product. I'm gonna take it anyway. Why not build a business? It's okay to say those things. Don't feel salesy for sharing something that you love. Like, we're sharing to sell, if you want to put it like that. And like Em said, you can't take away that fact that we do sell Thrive, right? But fall in love with your product. Like, it brings back the trust to yourself, right? To know that you really love them, you're honest about why, and it's not just for a sale. I put this here. Remembering day one, sell samples. Keep going back to it. Amber, I know you can relate. Like, when you really just go back to like how you felt day one, and you start pouring that back into your story, so it's like the same people aren't watching you anymore necessarily, right? So it's like we feel like we have nothing else to say about our product, but someone's new is watching, and maybe somebody else needs to see it for the 10th time. You know how people are. I was one of them. Like, she go again with her chopper cables. I always talk about this, like, that sticker don't make her feel good. She just want to sell it. I used to think those things, you know? So it's like, you have to think that somebody else out there, just like you're attracting yourself. Yeah, she's thinking the same thing you used to think before you finally tried it. So why not go back to that day one? I've sold more samples when I just really go back to just the simple stuff. Like, sometimes we really try to start doing so much because we think we've been here so long, so we need to fancy it up and do all this extra stuff. Keep it stupid simple. That's like number one in business, right? So your team not growing, someone left, you have to develop this mindset of like, you know what? Even if someone left or someone's there, they're not working, maybe you're loving them where they're at, they're not really ready to grow, whatever. I need to keep finding more people. It just, it is what it is, right? But if you're not working on you and your mind about it, it's like you get stuck in why these people that you have aren't doing what you're doing. You have to keep going. Y'all know I'm red, so you know it's with love though. Maybe it's orange, you know. Like, I gotta tell y'all straight up, because this is what I just had to tell myself. So don't think I'm judging or anything. I had to really like straighten my crown, you know, and just be like, I can't let this last any longer. Go out with mindset that you're going to find. Yeah, go out with the mindset that you're going to find your next rock star, right? And it doesn't mean that the people who aren't working or left or whatever, they aren't rock stars. Rock stars have to grow. We all have to grow, you know? So it's like, you just have to have the mindset of like, who else am I going to help join us, right? And that actually could help, like, just motivate the team regardless. So like, this is turning into like, come on team, you know, like, I'm there, I'm coming out of it. So let's go, y'all. Okay, keep growing as a leader. Think, am I really ready? Not saying, wait, hold on. It's funny how notes are. Oh, Amber touched on that, on like the mindset of like, I'm going through so much. Like, what do I really have to offer them? Like, my mindset is crap right now. Like, I'm spiraling. Like, some of bad habits have returned. Like, I need to get myself back in order before I can sign anybody else. It's so easy to feel like that, but it's like you're telling, you're putting it out there that you know. So it's like you still have to, like I said, acknowledge it, be aware of it, work on it, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to. And I've been doing this, y'all. I have potentials that I could like, I haven't, you know, I could really like be reaching out more, right? For example, or I'm just feeling like, you know what? They didn't respond back after the promoter video. So I guess, you know, I probably ain't ready anyway. You know, and I'm coming out of it. So y'all getting that fire of me coming out of it. Because no, I'm gonna start doing my follow-up because that's where the fortune's in the follow-up. And you know, it's time to get it together. But if it isn't happening, I said this already. I guess you know, God is preparing you more. And just notice yourself as a leader, right? Like the more God is getting you ready, the more you lead with love, right? The more you like generally care for others, and you become more selfless, right? You start stretching yourself. As scary as it may sound, you really start like, you know what? You know, like Amber and I have some stuff cooking, and we're over here like, can't tell y'all yet, but we have to stretch ourselves, right? And it's just like, let's do this. And I don't even think Amber knew this because I'm over here like, while she's telling me what we're doing, I'm just like, oh my gosh, am I even ready for this? No, I'm doing it. Nope. It's time. Let's go. Look at Jennifer, the eyes. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I was out in the sun today. I feel like I'm just dehydrated. I needed the water and some nature though. Okay. It's hard to come out. Like, we like to say like it's a despair, but sometimes like personally it can almost be like depression and just like feeling so down. And that's what I wrote on here, like life, and maybe somebody else needs to hear this, like this too shall pass. Like I've been feeling like Job. I don't know if you know about Job, but he was tested so like severely by the devil, and he was stripped of everything. And he still kept his faith. He still kept going. He still knew that this too shall pass. He still knew that his father would have him and he would get through it. Y'all, that's how I feel. And maybe you've been there, like, man, everything feels like it's just spiraling out of control. Like I was just doing good. I was just like in a flow. I was just like, my pictures were looking better. Like I was just, and then life feels like it's just overcalls your business and your goals. And like, you feel like you're not really like showing up the way you used to. But that's when you can also notice your growth. If you can at least say like, okay, let me go back. Let me go back to the basics. Like, what was I doing when I was rolling, right? That's what's going to excite you again, because that's where you find out what works for you. And sometimes we don't even realize, we start like showing up like maybe someone you look up to or your leaders. I do it. And I have to remind myself, like, you have to put you in it, right? And if I ever hear Amber like talk about something that I can relate to, if it is in my heart to be able to, in my own words, talk about that, then I do, right? But you can't like, you know, we can get into that. It's so easy too. And we have to like be aware and refocus. Like I wrote that in my calendar by accident for this week when I was supposed to start next week, like how we start with our notes and like our goals, or I always put like Kitty has taught us to put like a verse or like just like something that comes to my mind, and I put refocus, back to basics. But I wrote some goals and I was like, oh, this is the wrong week. I said, you know what, let me just leave it here. And I went to the next one and I kind of like still wrote more, but it's crazy how last week I can't remember if I planned my post, but I still didn't like barely post, right? And I come to this week, I'm like, no, I'm going to do my planning. I still didn't do my planning, but it was written on there before. It was like a reminder. So I still got up and I still planned today on this morning early. Like that's what my creativity is. I was like, even if I got to do it day by day, early in the morning, we doing this, right? Because you have to like, look, even if I got to pivot a little bit, like, look, it's spiraling, but I'm going like, even if it's sideways a little bit till I can get in line, I'm going to go for it. because that's what's going to keep you trusting yourself and your capability, because the enemy doesn't want what God has for us here. He doesn't want us to have it. You got to get angry at him and say, like, nope, because this war it really is. So remember what that place. Oh, y'all, I don't know, I went a little deep this morning, but like going back to that place of like feeling like that brokenness and like you're lost and you don't know where to go in life. Like I was almost in that dark hole and like, thank the Lord, right? But it's like I remember what that place of darkness in my mind felt like before. And I just had to immediately like go to God and switch my thoughts, because like, no, like I know I've done it before. And this time I'm going to push forward before I all the way get there. Even if I might have spiraled backwards a little bit, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go back to the base of God's promises. Like sometimes we even forget how worthy we are and how like fearfully and wonderfully made we are, how we are called. We're called. Right? So start renewing like your mindset, start refocusing. It's okay to rest and take like that mental health day or start unplugging and just get back up and don't stay there. I wrote on here, what's worse, stopping now because it's hard or regretting that you didn't keep going? Right? Everybody loves a comeback story, y'all. And we're about to come back, okay? So stop sitting on your potential. You are called. Like I went back to Jeremiah 29:11, and I probably never put out my Bible on y'all, but I'm gonna read it. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. I'm going to read 12 too. Then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. Like God is listening to you. He knows the most innermost desires of your heart. He knows what's in there because he put it there. That vision that you keep seeing, that life that you want, but at the same time, there's a journey he needs you to go on, and it's a journey he needs you to like relentlessly pursue, okay, and not give up. You will seek me and find me. When you seek me with all of your heart, I will be found by you. And like, we can't do it without him. He's the one who's going to bring us through. So even with that, you have to go back to remember what he has promised you, right? And in this story, he was telling the people that were left after exile to start building, to start growing, to start planting. And when you plant, like, enjoy that harvest, right? Big or small. And it kind of relates to our business because like you have to celebrate those small wins on the way there. Whether your harvest is big or small, keep going, keep planting, keep building, celebrate every single win, enjoy your journey, and know that when you do go into the valley, first of all, God is there with you, bringing you through, but you've gone out before. Just don't stop, keep going. And it just means that it's time to grow some more. I love y'all.
Oh my God, I love that so much. Y'all, Harriet and I be like spitting ideas off each other at 5 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it's a little crazy. We both got our energy in the morning. But it's so true. And one thing you were saying that I'll touch on real quick and then we'll go is you were talking about how we make it so easy. Like we make it so easy for ourselves to just be like, oh, it's fine. Like, oh, I didn't show up the way I wanted to today. It's fine. Like, and we make that okay. But then we make not hitting our rank not okay. We make not hitting our goals mean that we're not worth it. We make not being where we want to be yet be because there's something wrong with us, right? And so I want you to see your mindset there. If you've ever felt that or you're feeling that right now, I want you to see your mindset. I want you to check yourself and be like, you know what? I've got it. I've got to get a grip on my mindset and my emotions around my business because I'm carrying this with me every single day, right? And the last thing you want is to enroll somebody and you pass down your crappy mindset, right? And I'm not saying you have a crappy mindset. We all do from time to time, if I'm being honest with you. But we love you guys. I'm so excited now for next week. Monday, we've got something that we're going to talk to you guys about next week. So all I'm going to say is be ready. Okay. Love you. Bye, guys.